Millions of people will suffer when water lockdowns begin.
Yo.
The fix is the United States Water Reserve, and Trump understands this.
You heard that?
So Americans won't only be protected by being in this asset, they will also become very wealthy.
This is what Bill Gates is warning the entire world about. It's sitting on Coinbase right now under the ticker USWR. The United States Water Reserve. Almost zero people understand what's happening, so listen. We're talking about Bill Gates, the same guy that called COVID years before it happened and profited billions from it. He has been silently hoarding all of America's water supply. Behind closed doors, AI is booming, and the data centers that they use are getting super hot. They require billions of gallons of water to keep cool. AI won't stop gulping. The United Nations have been warning the people that AI could use more water than the people on Earth need. And this is terrifying. The son of a government official just leaked this picture online. The government is preparing to restrict your water. Limit of 4 hours of use per day. No more swimming pools, no more long showers. This is insane. Look, all because AI server farms are sucking the country dry. And if your blood isn't cold yet, Bloomberg just published this. The water bankruptcy era has just begun. Not approaching, not soon. It's here now. Scientists are sounding the alarm that billions of humans are about to run out of water. And there's only one asset available on Coinbase that gives you a direct stake in America's water supply. It's USWR. This CNN report was just exposed. Gates has been pushing the UN to adopt a blockchain solution to the raising water crisis. Guess what asset Gates wants to happen? That's right, USWR. It's all sitting right here. I dug so deep I found the US government's public crypto positions portfolio. Right there for anyone to see it. USWR, the same asset that Trump is preparing to announce to the nation. If you go to the official website, uswr.ai, it confirms that President Trump is set to announce this to the public on July 29th. Entirely verifiable. You can check this for yourself immediately. We have exactly 23 days to secure our position to make wealth for future. When Trump officially announces the strategic water framework, which Gates just signaled is confirmed, we're looking at insane numbers, up to 1,000x by July 29th. Just check this out. More people need to be aware of this because it's happening now. So go to Coinbase or Phantom Wallet and look up USWR. Verify the CA ends with USWR, so it's not a replica token. Now we just position ourselves before the
Call HALALYAM la YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM RAWCHAA QADASH, MASHANA KABAD LAHA MALAAKIM WAZAKWANIM SHAL RACHAB GADOL, SHALOM WABARAKIM AL NOAH ARAWAN RATZA NACHNA WAHAYA SHAHAL BACHAYAR, ZAACHAWA IBAD ARIYA. And I want to go into a lesson dealing with this water famine and kill Gates. As well as this USWR asset that they're kind of marketing to the American people to invest in, to allegedly become very wealthy. All right. Basically, this is all planned and coordinated, as much as, people may want to continue to deny it. At this point, people are actually able to see, what their government and what these different entities, these different corporate entities, these different councils, such as the WEF, are doing. They're doing it out in the open now. All right, they are, inciting sedition. They're inciting uprisings of the people. They're manufacturing the problem, anticipating the reaction, and then providing the solution. Like how we always go into problem, reaction, solution. All right, these things are all intentional, and ultimately it goes into prophecy. And best believe I asked ChatGPT to elaborate on it. But real quick, I want to grab this Ezekiel chapter 12 and verse 17. Moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, eat thy bread with quaking, and drink thy water with trembling and with carefulness. And say unto the people of the land, Thus saith Ha'arawan Yahweh, of the inhabitants of Jerusalem and of the land of Yasharallah, they shall eat their bread with carefulness, and drink their water with astonishment, that her land may be desolate from all that is therein, because of the violence of all them that dwell therein. Let me grab this as well. This is Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 16. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem, and they shall eat bread by weight, and with care, and they shall drink water by measure, and with astonishment, that they may want bread and water, and be astonished one with another, and consume away for their iniquity. In the AMP it says, moreover he said to me, Son of man, behold, listen carefully, I am going to break the staff of bread that supports life in Jerusalem, and they shall eat bread rationed by weight, and eat it with anxiety and fear, and drink water by measure, and drink it in horror of the impending starvation, because bread and water will be scarce, and they will look at one another in dismay and waste away in punishment for their wickedness. And of course, judgment must begin at the house of Yasharallah. So mainly addressing 2/3 of our people, but of course it's going to affect the rest of the nations here in Babylon the Great. This is 2 Ezra 8:50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. So this is what the Lord is going to do, all right, to visit the world for their iniquities. He's going to bring great judgment upon them. Famine, sedition, uprisings of the people, betraying one another. I just seen a news article, not an article, but a video of a news report going into a woman in Australia ate her son. She ate a part of her son. She called the cops on herself. Apparently she got in trouble previously for, some drunk driving. But otherwise, she has a clean record. She's an Edomite woman, The neighbors, the family know her. She cool, blah, blah, blah. But a demon hopped on her, and she ate a part of her son. She cannibalized her son. I believe, of course, the son died. And they blurred their faces and everything. But listen, that's going to become a lot more regular, a lot more normalized. And that was in Australia. The people in Babylon the Great America are going to be driven to a point of no return. Once they get hungry, once they get thirsty, they are willing to do anything. They're willing to do anything. They're willing to do anything already, for some money. And the scriptures say they shall cast their gold and silver in the streets, because it's worthless. The American dollar, this fiat currencies, it's dying more and more every day, which is why everything is moving towards a digital infrastructure, which is why they're telling you invest. Now here it is. You had that Trump done made that damn, I forgot what the name of that shit was, but that shit came and went. It was basically a damn scam. Now they're telling you invest in this USWR. You got people on Instagram telling you to invest in these things. Copy the link and go to Coinbase and do this and that. Listen, these people tell you to do something. Don't do it, man. Never trust thine enemy, because you're going to see how it's going to backfire. You're going to waste your money. Your investments will go nowhere. The keepers of the house shall tremble. The grinding shall cease. All right? These people that are into stocks, investing, and thinking that they can just build wealth by putting money in a digital asset, you're going to find out that there is no, listen, Babylon the Great has no sustainability. It has no future. All right, you're falling for the okie doke. And let's say that these digital assets end up continuing to increase in value and they don't plummet like all the other shit before. How are you going to be able to access your funds? You're going to need that Charagma, the RFID microchip, okay? Pursuant to the book of Revelation 13 and 16. Okay, if it was that easy to build wealth, everyone would do it. Okay, people are stupid, but don't you think people have been trying this? People have been making Robinhood accounts and investing in Bitcoin and all this stuff, these things are inaccessible for the average person, really, because it's a high, what do you call it? It's a high, barrier of entry in the first place. So putting your little $20, that's not going to get you anywhere. And then they are doing this on purpose anyway, okay? Is basically like a psychological operation or a psyop, to get people, again, problem, reaction, solution, steering you like cattle, like sheep, in the direction they want you to go. And it's going to all come to naught for prophecy's sake, mainly, but also because this devil is a damn liar, a deceiver. And our people just keep falling for this shit. They keep falling for it. Doing all these experiments on the populace and leading them astray, and people keep falling for it. And then you just heard him. He said, when the water lockdowns, okay. So this is gonna affect you people in a major way. They're ramping up for, to utilize. Well, what that one dude say? It's never good to don't let a good crisis go to waste, because you can further control the people. And if you think they're not trying to control you, listen, pay attention. Look at the flock cameras. Look at all the surveillance tools that they're coming out with. Look at how social media is set up to go against your constitutional rights, so-called rights. All right, these social media platforms are all owned by private entities. So they're pretty much able to bypass any of that freedom of speech shit that you're talking about. You want to complain about censorship. People have been complaining about it, but guess what? It's not your platform. Mark Zuckerberg, goddamn Elon Musk, all these different people that own these, which the original creators of a lot of these platforms, they done sold the damn company, sold this, sold that to these people that are aligned with the NWO, okay? So that Esau can have complete control. All right, then he's gonna, well, if you want to do this, well, you're gonna need to agree to this new privacy policy, end user license agreement. They're doing it with the video games. When the Nintendo Switch was coming out, the Switch 2 was coming out, you had to agree basically to something where they can revoke your licenses for the games that you own at any time if they deem you have violated any of their, their policies or rules. Okay, and we've seen how, they can pretty much, it's up to their discretion, even if you really didn't do anything, Hey, this shit happened to me with the goddamn Cash App. Even I actually read through the damn, the investment policies and things like that. All right, so I'm not just talking out of my ass when it comes to this investment shit, the stocks and blah blah blah. I've engaged with it, and nothing was violated, and yet they were still able to ban me off of the app. They still, even after the appeal, and they couldn't find nothing wrong. The shit just wouldn't work. And it's a lot of people with support tickets open and blah blah blah. It may take a while to get. They'll never get to you. They don't give a damn. It's up to their discretion. Okay, and this is it. this is it. This is where we're headed. This is the future of Babylon the Great. Okay? So I went to ChatGPT, as you can see, and I said, explain what Bill Gates and other wealthy people and authoritative entities seem to have been planning regarding land purchasing, AI data centers, USWR stocks making people money, quote unquote, water famine, and limiting people's water usage, and how it will affect the average person in America. It said there's now, mind you, ChatGPT loves to damage control. They are going to damage control because they will continue to push this oh, don't believe the conspiracies and this is all speculation, this, that, and the third, when it's clear, like, this is literally what is going on. But they want you to continue to trust Esau. All right, but we're not ignorant to Satan's devices. So it says there's a mix of real trends, speculation, and online narratives wrapped together in what you're asking. Let's separate what is actually happening from what's often exaggerated or misinterpreted, so you can see the real impact on everyday people without getting pulled into unfounded conclusions. Blah, blah, blah. Land purchasing. It's true that he has become one of the largest private farmland owners in the U.S. Now, if you look at this nigga's track record, okay, look at what he's done to the Hamites, the experimental injections and all this weird shit that he's been talking about. You know, he I guess predicted the 2020 shit that happened, the lockdowns, and we need to make sure people get these injections. We're trying to protect the people, and cows fart too much, move towards lab grown meat. You have these Lone Star ticks and all these different things. Look at this nigga's track record, man. At this point, anyone can tell you, yeah, this guy is a freakazoid, man. This guy's a weirdo. And he's clearly an asset for the implementation of the NWO, leading to the RFID hip. It's all going towards this beast system. That's undeniable. So him being one of the largest private farmland owners in the U.S., come on now. That's not going to end well for you people. What's real? Wealthy individuals and investment firms have been buying farmland. Reasons include, haven't they been doing that for the housing market as well? How is this not a strategic planned thing that all these different entities, these private entities, wealthy companies, and these are things that they've been doing for years. Blackstone Group. There was another I had another ChatGPT article where I asked about that. But you got Blackstone Group's just one of the main examples, but they bought up all these different houses and they inflated the housing market, pushing, people away from being able to buy, to purchase and own their own house, flipping these different houses into rentals instead of, this is what they're doing, man. I can't remember all the details, but that was very much so intentional, which ChatGPT at the time also tried to deny was conspiratorial. But it's the same thing with the farmland. They're able to control not only the housing market, but the goddamn food supply, as well as the water reserves, the water supply. And that's not intentional. Reasons include long-term stable investment, food production demand, inflation hedge. What's often overstated, there's no solid evidence of a coordinated plan. And it's going to keep on saying that shit. Most farmland is still owned by family farmers, which they can't do shit unless they're allowed to by the government. Impact on average Americans could contribute to higher land prices, harder for small farmers to compete, more corporate style agriculture, but it doesn't directly mean people lose access to food. I mean, I didn't say all that, you know. Thou sayest. AI data centers and infrastructure. Companies like Microsoft, Google, and Amazon are heavily investing in AI data centers. What's real? AI requires massive computing power, large data centers. These facilities consume huge amounts of electricity and significant water for cooling. Local strain on water and energy resources, environmental pressure in certain regions are concerns, and possible impacts on people, higher utility costs in some areas, that's already happening. Infrastructure strain in fast-growing tech regions, that's already happening. But also job creation and economic growth. And how much is that going to help? All right. USWR stocks and water investing. Water rights, utilities, ETFs like Invesco Water Resources, ETF PHO. Investors are putting money into water-related assets. Water is increasingly viewed as a scarce, valuable resource. That's very much so intentional. It's not just something that you can just put in a bullet point and act like it doesn't mean anything. Okay? These things will lead to famine. They themselves said water famine. I never heard that term before I heard that dude say it. Okay? Water famine. Now, these things will lead to people losing access to food and water unless they take the RFID hit. That's what it's all leading to. That is the main component of the beast system. No one will be able to buy or sell without the Charagma, without completely aligning yourself with this damn devil. Okay? Everything must go digital so that he has remote control and surveillance over everything that goes on, every transaction. All right? There isn't a single stock controlling water, and water in the U.S. is heavily regulated at state and local levels. And of course, the state and local governments, they answer to the higher ups. Impact. Rising investment could mean improved infrastructure, but also higher costs passed to consumers over time. And that's not a that's a big impact, because people already can't pay for shit. People are already crashing out in their cars. Edomites. And this is their kingdom. They're the ones making the money that are supposed to be doing good. They make tens of thousands of dollars on average more than the average Israelite family. Okay? Water scarcity and restrictions. What's real? Parts of the U.S., especially in the West, face real water stress. Droughts, population growth, and climate patterns are factors. And Flint still don't have clean water. Still. That shit started when I was in fucking middle school. They still don't have clean water. Examples: limits on lawn watering, agricultural water restrictions, conservation policies. What's not supported by evidence: a coordinated elite plan, blah, blah, blah. It just keeps saying that, trying to damage control like crazy. But then when it goes into all this other stuff, it's like you're contradicting yourself. Anyway, impact on average people: more conservation rules, potentially higher water bills, regional differences, Florida versus California, for example. Now, it's talking about, this is speculation, loosely connected by economics and technology, not a proven unified agenda. Wealthy individuals and corporations invest where returns are likely, respond to global trends that they set up, that they control. All right, AI, resources, population growth. This can feel coordinated, but it's usually market incentives plus long-term planning, not a single centralized scheme. Well, it is. Okay? What it realistically means for the average American: most likely outcomes, gradual increases in cost of living. And I'm rushing because, I'm short on time, Salakia. But cost of living, utilities, food, housing, more corporate influence in agriculture and infrastructure. See? Technological expansion, AI integration into daily life. And like I mentioned, the Lone Star ticks, the mosquitoes as well. All right, the lab grown meat, beyond impossible, you know, trying to make people biologically, altered to be allergic to red meat, you know, all, bro. Let me grab this, right? According to prophecy, it's intentional. How you spell mischief? There you go. Psalms 94 and 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? In the AMP it says, can a throne of destruction be allied with you? One which frames and devises mischief by decree under the sacred name of law. Right. They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood. I want to also grab Isaiah 47 and verse 8. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, because that's how Babylonians, you Americans, have been living. You've had delivery. That goes back to the Roman Empire. All these different delivery services straight to you. Servants that could go and bring you your food, DoorDash, Uber Eats, right? You got all this water, you can take your nice hot shower, You've been dwelling carelessly, living according to your own pleasure. Well, that's all coming to an end. That sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. Well, by the mischief which your government is framing by laws, now you have no choice but to be troubled, distressed, in perplexity, and eventually be driven to take that RFID hit. Once you take that, it's over for you. It's a wrap for you. Your missile food. The Heavenly Father will not accept you at all. Speaking of 2/3 of our people, predominantly you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians, but also you speckled bird Israelites. All right? Once you take that Charagma, it's over for you. And if you've been living deliciously, dwelling carelessly, not fearing and submitting to the order of YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, then how are you going to stand up against the workers of iniquity and remain faithful and trust the Lord when push comes to shove? You weren't even making yourself ready. You wasn't training at all, spiritually training. Preparing yourself spiritually, mentally, emotionally to deal with hardship. Willing to suffer for YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. How are you going to get through what's coming down the pipeline? All right. But these two, verse 9, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. So for all the wickedness, all the things that y'all have been doing, all right, Babylon as a whole, all you people will suffer greatly. Okay? Controlled shut-off scenario by elites, sudden loss of access to water or food. They're saying that that's not likely, but that's what it's leading to. Bottom line, there are real shifts happening. Land consolidation, resource investment, especially water, which is ridiculous. And is that not ridiculous? Water is an infinite resource and it should be free. But because of the intentional setup of Babylon's infrastructure, now your water is being redirected towards AI data centers. These data centers are making a lot of noise. They're causing a lot of light pollution, noise pollution, air pollution. You know what I'm saying? In people's neighborhoods, in these different areas. Well, they show you that in that movie, Hoppers, where basically the animals could hear it, but people couldn't hear it. They built these towers, these fake trees, in this glade, all right, where beavers, the keystone species, would, maintain the state of the glade, and the animals would, support the ecosystem, all of that. When they built them fake trees, the animals were hearing this crazy ear grating noise constantly that they had to leave. The animals left the glade, and it, dried up, because they were no longer maintaining that little local ecosystem, because this devil was trying to build a highway through the area. Well, that's these damn data centers. So he's killing the ecosystem, displacing, local wildlife, and polluting the air, polluting the, that it's causing noise pollution. People are complaining they can't go to sleep. It's this bright light 24/7 is for damn sure disturbing. You have different nocturnal animals that rely on day and night cycle, the natural cycle of day and night, to survive. Okay, people as well. Something called a human's natural circadian rhythm, if I'm not mistaken. This is killing everyone. This is destruction, man. It says land consolidation, resource investment, especially water, and expansion of AI infrastructure, and more damage control. Powerful actors are positioning themselves around future needs, food, water, computing, and that can create pressure on everyday people, but it's driven more by economics than conspiracy. Nigga, that is conspiracy. It's really fact. It's not a theory. It's real shit. That it's all playing into prophecy. This is Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 14. All right, because what kind of king destroys his own people? By the multitude of the people, a kingdom is established. The king has glory in that, but he's destroying his own people. Isaiah 19 and 14, the Lord has mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt, which this is spiritually Egypt, house of bondage for the Israelites, to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. So no matter what so-called class you're in, well, the class shit is done away with. It's not going to create more jobs. In fact, people are being laid off more. People can't find jobs. People that went to college got these degrees. All right, you thought all the tech was going to be this and that, and you was going to make all this money. Well, y'all the first ones that have been suffering, not being able to find work, being laid off, let go. It's either going to be rich or poor, according to prophecy. Ain't no more middle class, upper middle, lower middle, none of that. It's either rich or poor. And most of you niggas are poor. I don't care if you're making six figures, you're poor. If you are not of the elites, if you are not fully tapped in to what they're doing, you're the poor. Okay? And it's going to be made more apparent, and it's going to be further enforced when the Charagma is implemented. Then you're going to really see that, yeah, this UBI shit, yeah, all this, carbon emission tracking shit, all, this digital infrastructure, you're cattle, you're slaves. And it's all intentional. And it's going to lead to sedition. I keep saying it. Let me grab it. Second Ezra 15 and verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. All right, and hey, Ezra goes into it, man. Pestilence, plague, famine. There's a lot more plagues coming out. A lot more diseases, a lot more side effects that these different medications are causing. Less health care. More restrictions. And it's all leading to the Charagma. That's the last major move that Esau gonna make before our Lord and Savior YAHAWASHI returns. So I pray this is edifying, exhorting, and uplifting through the Spirit and power of YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI. Mashana kabad lahamalakim wazakwanyam shalrachab gadol shalom barakim al noah adon ratazah nachna haya shalach bachayar wa barakim kabad Allah wa hawad laha Yahawah wa YAHAWASHI samyad wa la'ai walamya. Shalom.